It is my pleasure to be speaking with Michael Fors of Liquid Jazz Experience, just like it sounds, liquidjazzexperience.com on this Friday morning, already February 6th of this Elevated Magazine's podcast. Michael, how are you doing this morning at 10 a.m. in Boston as you prepare? To a certain extent, as we were just touching upon, for the very frigid weekend you have ahead of you in Boston, yet you are in the very fortunate position that it may not be as chilly for you as it will be for everyone else because you will be enjoying wine the best way possible with what you have created, which is amazing. And please, I will now be quiet. You can jump into it. The Liquid Jazz Experience.
Thank you. Yep. Actually, I'm all set. The plow's on the truck. Everything's ready to go. So I'm going to be okay. But yeah, the Liquid Jazz Experience, I started making homemade wine 25 years ago. And it's always just been a hobby. It was never a thought to take it any further than that. And then we started doing, we call them wine nights. It's pretty much every Thursday night for the last 25 years. You know, we miss a few here and there, but we get together. So last night there was 10 of us. People just stroll in. There's no rhyme or reason. And we just, open up a couple bottles of wine and just start chit-chatting about everything. We solve more problems than you can imagine on a Thursday night. And
especially when wine's involved. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the problems get solved quicker as the night goes on.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure that you have solved many of the world's problems.
Right. I see you feel lighter today too, so you're welcome. Yeah. So what would happen is, I take my homemade wine and I prefer it decanted. I prefer it aerated. I like it when the sulfites have dissipated, the alcohol smells dissipated, the tannins and the acidity levels are softened. So what I would do is I would open a couple of bottles, 2 or 3 hours ahead of time, just leave the corks off, waiting, for people to start showing up around 6 o'clock. Well, what was happening as wine night got more popular, then people would start showing up. So I'd come out with the two bottles and it'd be, two, three, four of us. And we're just sipping and talking. And then a car would pull in, a car would pull in. Next thing you know, I have to go get another bottle. And it's nothing like we were just drinking.
Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah.
Right. So I kept thinking, there has to be a quick way. And I did a little research and there's some products online. There's one that you get a decanter and you sit it on a base and it kind of rocks it around. And
yeah,
but it got the wine splashing all over the place. And there's another one you put a pill in it and it creates a vortex and it's like a windmill in there just whipping the wine around. And I'm like, I don't know. There has to be a softer, more gentler way. When we first started wine night, my friend Tony, whose dad, Ercolino, born and raised in Italy, came over here when he was in his early 20s. He was the one that showed me how to make the wine. And when we started doing the wine nights, Tony brought him one time. And we would just have, the carboys were up on the shelf, and we would just take a siphon, put it in, just draw on it, and just fill the glasses and put the siphon back up. So this one day, Kenny, who had made wine with us, was siphoning off, and he spilled a little bit. I mean, it wasn't even a full sip. And Mr. Staffieri slams his hand on the table and said, if you don't respect the wine, don't make it. And I'm like, oh my God, what do we get ourselves into here? But, this was something he brought from Italy. This was home. This was his wine for the year. You make it.
No, I like that. That's a really good statement. That's strong and that's to the point. It's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I felt that, and I tried to carry that throughout the 25 years that I've been making it. So we like to vacation on the North Shore, Gloucester, Massachusetts. It's kind of a rocky coast.
Yeah, we actually have a new luxury realtor, Marnie, and she has some listings up there, and I mean they're beautiful and it looks beautiful. I've not personally been, but it looks fantastic.
Oh, it's awesome. We stay at the Bass Rocks Inn, and on that stretch of road, there are no homes or businesses on the ocean. They're all across the street.
Okay.
So when you're looking at, I mean, they own the other side of the street, but there's full view.
Yeah.
So they have a small grass area. There's 4 Adirondack chairs. So I usually go up. I bring my homemade wine. I take my plastic container because I'm by the rocks. I fill up my glass and I'm sitting in that Adirondack chair. And this was 4 years ago. And it was an unbelievably beautiful day. The sun was shining. It was nice and warm. It was slack tide at that point. So it's in between the tides. There happened to be a lobster boat out front. I'm watching them pull the traps. The sailboat goes by. I'm thinking it doesn't get better than this.
Yeah.
Well, probably about an hour into this, the tide starts to change and the water starts crashing on the rocks. And now I start to smell the ocean. Mm-hmm. I smell the salt air, the seaweed, just from the splashing on the rocks. And I'm like, just that motion of the crashing on the rocks opened up the ocean. So that following winter, just by chance, a buddy of mine and I were out for a walk. We live near a river over here, and it was another really cold winter. So the river was frozen. So we're walking along the river, and there was one spot that was open. It was probably 18 inches wide, maybe 2 or 3 feet long, and the water was rolling over the rocks. So that's why that spot was open. And there was a low-hanging branch, and the mist that was creating by the water rolling over those rocks was creating icicles on that lower branch. So I looked at my friend John. I said, hey, look at that. Just by the water rolling over those, it's creating that mist. So he goes, yeah, I see that. And I'm going, yeah, but when I was, yeah, right. So, and then I started thinking, if I could get the wine to roll over something, it's going to open it like the ocean did when the waves were crashing on the rocks. And that's how I came up with this idea. So I had this guy I knew owned a sheet metal shop, and out of stainless steel, I had to make a rudimentary prototype. And then one wine night, there was 5 of us there. And I said, look, I have this idea. We're going to try it tonight. I haven't tried it yet. So I poured the wine in there. I poured wine out of the bottle first. Then I poured the wine into that and I rocked it. I did that for 5 minutes that time because I had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
And I poured it into I spilled everywhere because it was a flat edge and trying to pour. And so we got enough in the glasses to try. And lo and behold, it made a tremendous difference in the wine in the 5 minutes. And it was like, oh man, it was so exciting, just that. And I was happy with that. And then, my daughter and some friends are like, are you going to, because like everybody, we've all had hundreds of ideas of things.
Yeah.
And so they're all like, are you going to pursue this one? You're retiring now. Why don't you just do something? And I'm like, I thought about it, talked to my wife. We had a little savings put away. And I said, hey, can I try this? So I went ahead and did it. Now I have inventory and a website and doing podcasts. It's awesome.
It's that's a fantastic story, and it's Mother Nature literally, well, she had to dish it to you twice with respect to the idea. Yet,
yes.
Thankfully, you caught on to it, and in all its simplicity, it's right there in front of you. It's brilliant, and that's how some of the great. You just said we all have. We tend to think we all have a great idea at one point or another. That's one. But in all simplicity, it's often that one where any of us can say, who invented Velcro? Like, who had that idea? Whatever it might be. And this is such a great idea. I haven't it's been a while. We go in phases. So it's my red wine days. It's been a little bit, as much as I love it. But and also for the sake of the audience, when you typically, with a typical decanter, how long does it take for the wine to aerate and get to the point at which it's perfect, so to speak?
Yeah, usually they say anywhere from 1 to 3 hours you can let it sit out. And, before I invented this, I didn't have a problem with that. The problem was the second bottle. Like, you come over and visit, we're having dinner.
Well, right. The first one you were prepared. No big deal. Yeah.
Correct. And then all of a sudden it's gone.
Right.
Well, you're going to wait another hour.
Well, and it's the first bottle. It's gone very quickly. And so then,
yes,
right. And so then it's either you're going to gear shift into, some other cocktail, which you don't necessarily want to do, and you can't always anticipate as to how much wine you're going to have, especially in your situation that you mentioned. You've got friends rolling up, and you want that to be the case depending on the evening. And so this gives you Liquid Jazz Experience. Literally, it's the absolute solution to that, and it's the solution not only for gatherings and whatnot, but further for, I mean, really for, in my opinion, it would be an incredible solution, if you will, if that's the right word, for those in the in tasting rooms in the wine industry, needing
Yes.
to open up and whatnot. I mean, this is, yeah, this is one of those ideas that I would. It's a
Yeah. And
compliment. It seems absolutely incredible, and that's why I was really thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with you.
thank you. Yeah,
It's
it's been
amazing.
fun. And a few of the restaurants I'm working with right now, what they've been doing, we were discussing things, and I had this idea for them. I'm like, listen, instead of doing every bottle, because right now I only have a manual rocking base. The battery operated ones they're all in prototype right now. I have three different ones. So it takes a little bit, well, it takes, 5 minutes. So, but while you're rocking it, you could be romancing the wine. So the restaurants that are into the wine, that have the nice wine lists and everything,
Yeah.
where the sommeliers tend to spend a little time at the table. What I said, hey, how about trying something like this? Instead of every table, how about if you do the Liquid Jazz Experience wine tonight is, and you pick a wine. So it's a wine you either got a really good deal on that you can make some nice money on, or some dead inventory.
Yeah.
Because once people have tried this, they want that experience. It just changes. A big part of how I'm promoting this and how I live with this is it's the relaxation part. It's the setting the tone for the evening. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. I have it here. It's
I'm
so
looking at it on the website too.
okay, yeah, and the steps on the bottom. So what it is you just slowly
It's fantastic.
rock it. And
It's huge. It looks much bigger in person than on the website.
yeah, well, it holds, oh my goodness. I have a bottle of wine here too. What are the odds? So I always like to I always like to pour a little first and taste it. This is an old bottle that somebody brought. I don't even know.
You should go on tour with this. You should be taking this through the restaurants up in ski country right now, and from Deer Valley to Vail to Aspen to Park City you should be Sun Valley, Jackson Hole. You should be hanging out with all the sommeliers, the somms, and just literally engaging the audience, audiences with that, and also then in your neck of the woods.
Yes.
Absolutely, it's so.
Yep.
And you know what? It's so great to, I mean, look at you can hear it in your voice and the smile on your face. And you obviously just having created something that's beautiful like this, which gives people happiness, and further to be doing something that you're passionate about as well, right? Because you spend your whole life, whatever it is you may have done prior to retirement. Yet this, I'm imagining this is giving you a lot more joy than whatever that might have been.
Yes, 100%. I mean, plus, everywhere you go, you try. One of my favorite things when I do events, shows, wine tastings, is, inevitably there's a group of 4 or 5 people that come up to the table. Oh, what's that? So I explain everything. So I give them you get the before, I mean, you get the after. After it's been decanted, that's the glass you get first. So you try that first, because if you try the other one first, you're going to have that tannins, everything in your mouth. So we start with this. And then I go to the other one. Well, the interesting part is there's a lot of people that come and go, no, I'm not into red wines.
Yeah.
I said, well, if you wouldn't mind humoring me and just try this and just see. If you don't like it, it's fine. I'm not here to sell wine.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be offended. I want you to see what the decanter does. So they're like, okay, so they'll try it. And a huge percentage of the time, I'm saying 75% of the time, that person will go, oh, now see, I like this. I could drink this. And they'll sip, you only give them an ounce. So they'll take a couple of sips and go, see, I enjoy that. And then I give them the glass of the before, and they take a sip. And it's always like, oh, see, this is why I don't like red wine.
Right.
And what I do now is when I'm doing the tastings, I'll pour 3/4 of the bottle in the decanter and I'll save 1/4 of the bottle. This way I'm pulling it out of the same bottle. It's not like,
Oh, right.
yeah, because, you go buy wines, it doesn't always taste the same, even though you buy the same wine the same year.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, so that's very smart. Yeah, that's a very smart play for you to do as well. And then it's yeah, and I love that example you just gave because there are so many people. I mean, and vice versa. There are many people that also will say they don't like white wines because they've never tried it appropriately in the appropriate environment, with the appropriate ambiance, with the appropriate food, temperature, etc. And it's a shame because then they end up spending their life not enjoying something that could, in all its simplicity, could open so many doors for them. I mean, my life, there are parts of my life that have changed due to certain types of, whether wines, alcohols, or whatnot, because I would not have participated in those moments had it not been for my enjoyment of whatever it might have been at the time. And so you're opening up a whole new world for people simply by opening up the fact. And there are, I would guess, millions of people on the planet that don't think they like red wine, but they absolutely would love it. And with the jazz experience, you solve that problem as well. You're really changing people's lives.
Yeah, correct. And right. And just the enjoyment part, like I do get some feedback. Some people are just like, oh, I got to rock it for 4 minutes. And I'm like, how long did it take you to prepare this meal?
Yeah.
You have hours,
Right, exactly.
You spend more than 4 minutes cutting cucumbers so it's funny.
That's the dynamics of American society now. The average American has an attention span of 2.5 to 3 seconds, I think it is. So 4 minutes. It's like, what are you talking about? But it's just
exactly
context. But it's so fantastic what you've created, and you're literally and if your wife ever does say anything negative about it, you circle back to what we were just discussing, and it's not only is this an amazing product, I'm a good Samaritan. I'm opening up people's, changing people's lives. But in a way, you truly are. I wish I had this product years and years ago when I was big into red wines. Absolutely. I'm glad I don't have it now because I think my life would go off the rails because it is such, and I mean that it's such a good product, and I wouldn't be able to stop with my red wine consumption. But so, what is it? So, what is most exciting for you right now with respect to where you're at in the development of the idea of, and you're introducing people to it, whatnot. So, as the entrepreneur,
yeah, well. One of the most exciting things was, at my age, to end up with a patent. It's patented. So to have that, to have that in the patent office, and it's going to be there forever. And they haven't given out patents on decanting or decanting processes in quite a while. Now, I don't know if that's because people didn't apply, but it's been many, many years since something new like this has come along.
I would imagine it's probably because people just simply didn't apply. I think it's one of those, and you're fortunate, it's one of those aspects of an industry where people just assume perhaps that there's nothing else that can be done there. You know what I mean? It's how people break a world record, right? Like people just, it's the mentality. It's the group mentality. Okay, so and so achieved, Carl Lewis, whoever it is, achieved that. Then people say that record can't be broken. Then someone goes and does it. And so I'm sure basically when it comes to decanting and whatnot, it was just looked at, and in the industry, whether it was from restaurants to sommeliers to you name it, it just wasn't even it was an afterthought. It's, that's done. And then you come along, and then even the people at the patent office were like, well, one, we have to get this product. And two, there is. They probably had to dust off the books and take a look at what the last time something was patented. And that kudos even further. That's amazing, man. It's such a great
thank you. Yeah. And a lot of it is ignorance. I didn't know the process or anything. And I'm like, and I was in sales my whole working career, and I never had trouble calling on I love that. My favorite part was calling on new customers.
Yeah,
I actually enjoyed my job less when I landed the customer, because then it was just coming in and filling orders and stuff like that. And the challenge wasn't there anymore. My wife used to get so upset. I come home some Sundays with, all the local Sunday newspapers, and she goes, "You're not looking for another job, are you?" It's like, "I'm so bored right now." She says, "Well, we're finally making money." I know, but I'm bored. I'm just going in and taking orders every day. Isn't that the goal? Well, yeah, but I reached that goal now. I need another one. So anyway,
you're what it's known as a unicorn or a diamond in the rough, but in the sales industry, it's and you probably know this term, and I can tell that you are this. You're called a rainmaker, and there aren't that many rainmakers left, and they're far and few between to come across them. But a rainmaker is someone. It's not about the money. It's not about the servicing of the account. It's about, you can call it the win, but it's further about the building of that new relationship. The building, it's literally the idea, whatever the idea might be, but introducing someone to it and engaging them with it. And then it's on to that. It's letting someone else deal with the servicing of the account.
right.
That's what a rainmaker does. A rainmaker brings the rain. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. The challenge, I was an athlete. I mean, just, high school and stuff like that. But, the challenge part of it, just to, like you said, to make that connection, when you walk in and, the first time you go into the sales call, they go, no, I'm all set. Okay, thank you for your time. And now I study the room, see what they like. I mean, I learned about, guns and NASCAR and so many things that I knew nothing about, because when I came back to see you, I wasn't even going to talk about my product. I was going to talk about what you liked.
Exactly.
And then you're right. Then I built the trust, and then they were willing to take a chance. And the big thing is I didn't let them down. When I finally got that first order,
of course not. Yeah.
They hated me in shipping and receiving and ordering. And I mean, that was, way before now. You didn't just order it on an iPad. I mean, I was selling for like 20 years before I got a beeper. So
I know. I can't believe that it was my first out of college. It was my first, I was telling someone this, it was my first gig with Clear Channel Radio back in the day. And that's when I got my first cell phone. I was probably 23, 24. And it's interesting that you and I have lived lives where, we didn't have cell phones. Like, I was actually in sales at a point where email was just being, and you think back, it's like, how did we even get business done? How did that work, right? And so here you are. You have a patent. You have this amazing product, and you're an entrepreneur at heart. You're a salesperson at heart, which is an entrepreneur. And so, where are you at now as you look at the landscape of this industry that you're now in? And it's an industry that obviously you've enjoyed throughout your life, and that you've enjoyed wine, but you weren't involved in it like you are now. Now you're involved in this industry. So now, how does it look for you? What is it that you look at and think about now on a daily basis? And now you get to be the rainmaker on a daily basis. So just what's the next one I'm hunting for? It's your every single day. How exciting and thrilling is that?
Oh, it's crazy exciting, especially since, I'm kind of bucking a, hundreds of thousands of year old tradition with the stem glass and the swirling, because we're all about rocking. And it's so fun when you go to shows and you do things and you get the traditionalists there, and especially a lot of the sommeliers. They're tough. That's a world unto itself. And I'm not saying anything negative, but
absolutely. Those are people that they've spent their lives to get to that position. And then
it's not an easy road.
No, I was just telling an associate of mine, I was just telling him 2 days ago how difficult it is to obtain that position, to get to that position. It's like, it's in essence, I tried to describe it to him, it's becoming an Olympic athlete of the wine world. It really is. You are the best of the best. That's it. And then, so for them to be at that level, and they look across the room and you come. So you can empathetically appreciate their position. They spent their entire lives trying to become the Andre Agassi
Right.
of the wine world, and you just woke up one day and we're sitting by
Yeah,
the ocean and there. Yeah. So I'm sure you're not at the top of their list of favorite people.
correct. Correct. And then I'll go into wineries. And, I did a show down in North Carolina. So I needed a wine to demonstrate because I don't have any connections to wine. I need the wine. So I was doing the show and I needed a wine. So I went into this one winery. It was a small one, but that winery was part of the event. So I said, oh, I'll try the ones that are, and I'll just buy the wine from them and I'll do their wine. So I walk in and I'm talking to the lady in the tasting room and explaining what I do. And this lady comes out of the back room. She says, excuse me, what's going on here? So I showed her my decanter. I told her what's going on. And she said, my wines don't need decanting. I said, oh, okay. I said, if you don't want me to do it, I won't do it. She goes, oh, you can try, but my wines don't need decanting. So I buy a bottle. We go out and sit in the tasting area. I rock it, and she comes out and tries it, and she was so upset at the change. I mean, wouldn't say
Upset
goodbye.
because she was wrong for years.
I don't know if it was wrong or if she's not selling what she thought she was selling. I
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
know what
Right. Yeah.
upset her, but that's happened at a few places now. So that some of the wineries don't love me coming in because if I set up and I do this and you taste the change and you like the change, the bottle you're buying, you have to do something to it. You can't just open and drink it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right. So they don't really love that. There's one in North Carolina that did that. It's Raffaldini Vineyards, and Jay was unbelievable. He's great to me. He brings me down for his membership when the members meet, his wine club
Yeah.
members, their annual meeting. He brings me down and lets me set this up and sell it there, and I change his wine dramatically. They have T-shirts down there, and it says the House of Tannins. He loves that bite, that hat, and I take it away. And the people that are there, like, I can't believe he has you here. You're just the opposite of everything that he preaches.
Right. And I can see that you're going to have people on both sides of the fence. You are going to have people that are absolutely going to, because that woman you're speaking about, you not only shook her foundation, you basically, to a certain extent, imagine someone, let's correlate religion with it, right?
Yep.
And you just literally like eviscerated her entire belief system, right? Really.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when it comes to whether it's food or wine or the type of gasoline someone uses in their Camaro, whatever it might
Right.
be, it's almost like a religious belief. And then you come in and just in the blink of an eye, you strip away their, the ego
Yeah. Oh,
so much. And so it can, I'm sure, upset people on a level that they can't even pinpoint why it upset them so much.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was so upset. And I felt bad. We're leaving. I'm like, oh, man, that's not what my goal was when I walked in the door.
It's no, you shouldn't feel bad. It's at the same time, it's what it is further though, is it's and you know this without me telling you, but it is that it's just consistent reinforcement that have, you have a product that is revolutionary, quite frankly. And
Thank you. Yes.
it's, and so it is going to rock a lot of people's worlds. And you're also, again, going back to something that you said, you're very well spoken, by the way, is going back to something you said is you are playing, this is a big sandbox, right? So to speak, but it's a
Right.
sandbox that has had rules for decades and decades and decades. And
Yeah.
you're going in and playing in it, and you have a product that you get to play in it very, very well. And it's going to change certain parts of the industry in ways that you can't even potentially foresee. And that's why now I'm sure, as you know, you also have to be on the offensive. And I mean that in a sense that doing everything you can to ensure the greatest success for what you've created with at these moments, because it just takes that one next big company and that's why it's amazing you do have it patented, but you have a product that is truly going to is revolutionizing without you even knowing it right now, the industry that you're in my opinion.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I feel that way too. And it's hard sometimes because it is mine. It was my idea, it's my patent. So, like you said before too, we all believe we have a brilliant idea. And it has. It's been working. And with the sommeliers or the ones that I don't remember the name of that wine club. There's one wine club to join in. You have to take a test and a taste test, and it's this one. Do you ever watch Shark Tank? It's the one that Mr. Wonderful's. Every time he says something, they do the toast.
Yeah.
And I've met up with a couple of those, and man, one of them was a friend of mine's stepfather, big into his wine. His wine cellar, he has bottles in there, many thousands of dollars a bottle. And so I wanted him to see this, and I don't have time. Another gimmick, another this. Well, when he found out I had a patent, he wanted to see me.
Yeah, of course.
So, right? It was awesome. So I go and we taste it, and you could see in his face, and even his wife said, "Oh, Richard," she said, "your face." And he goes, "What? What? My face?" He got so defensive because I'm not saying he didn't want to like it, or he couldn't believe it. So it was hard for him to settle. I'm like, it's okay if you don't like it. He goes, no, I'm not saying I don't like it. I said, well, if you don't notice a difference in the taste, he goes, no, I noticed a significant difference in the taste. So again, the years of selling, I was able to bring out of him, and then what really was a nice thing, because he had the before and after, and he's sipping the before, and that's in my glasses. I have my own glasses, and I don't swirl.
Yeah.
And because they have the ridges on the bottom, and it's shaped so you get, instead of swirling and sniffing, you just put it right under your nose and rock it. And that's how you get the flavor profile that way. So, he was, I'm watching him, and now we're talking. He admitted he tasted the difference. He said, yes. He said, this is softer, more flavorful.
It was better, but he didn't want it to be, because again, you're rocking his foundation, a foundation that he probably spent decades of his successful life and whatnot. But a component of that was introducing people to whatever that wine or that brand, that line, whatever it was, in his way, in his genius way of doing it. And you, without meaning to, and simply wanting to do right by him, but in essence, you're almost, it's an ego play. And even though you're doing something beneficial, at the same time, when you take away someone's ego and they can't even pinpoint it, they're like, I should love this. Why am I upset? You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the coolest thing was, so now we're just sitting around chit-chatting. All of that stuff is done now. And I watched him like 2 or 3 times, because the before was in his stem glass and the after was in my glass. My glass is a stemless. And I saw him reach for his glass and then stop and go get mine, because he enjoyed the wine more in mine than he did in the stem glass. And I'm like, you know what? That's enough for me. I'm satisfied at just seeing that, because it happened multiple times that he enjoyed this enough. It wasn't, I wasn't going to go, oh, see, I just let it go. And for me, it was just another validation that it works.
Yeah.
It works. So
it obviously absolutely works. And it's really exciting. It's for the 3rd or 4th time since we both said it, we can all, and we all have ideas every day. When I do my daily walk, I'll have ideas that, in that moment, it's the greatest idea ever. And that's a good thing. It's good to be thinking that way, regardless, even if it's the worst idea you've ever had. It's still good to have those inspirations. But then to truly have one of those ideas, to actually have one, And yours, the story of it's so good in that just of what it is, what it's for about wine, and one of the greatest, inventions, products, one of the greatest parts of life. That's what I say. Wine is. And for many different reasons. And then to have Mother Nature literally give you the idea twice. She gave you the idea.
Right.
That is so beautiful. That was, you didn't go out searching like a mad scientist for it. She literally gave it to you in those two moments. She gave it to you
Yep.
the first time, and then it's almost like she said, "You got one more shot."
Yes.
She gave it to you again. And that is such, I love that part of the story. That you were given this gift, this idea from Mother Nature herself. And that's what wine is. Wine is a gift to humanity from Mother Nature. And now it's almost as though, not to sound metaphorical, but she wanted to make it even better. And she chose you to show people how to enjoy wine better with liquid jazz experience.
It's yeah, and it's yes. I never thought of it like that, but yes, that is what happened. And I love so many times in our lives, um, things just happen. If you're, a few minutes later, if we had gone on a different
Yeah,
day, if the tide had already changed. I mean, there was so many variables that
absolutely.
happen
Yep.
in a sequential order that, like Johnny and I, that's not the path we usually take. We usually take the hike because you can look down over the river. This was along the river. And he was the one. He said, "Oh, let's just walk along the river today." I'm like, "Oh, all right." And then we go over the bridge and it's all icy. And I'm looking over there. I'm like, "Why did I look there?"
It was just meant to be part of the story. And I get what you're saying. And that, well, if I hadn't done these things, maybe it wouldn't happen. I think and I understand that. In your case, however, regardless of which way you would have taken, where you might have been sitting that day at the ocean, whatever it might have been, you can come up with 1,000 different scenarios. The universe was going to give this idea to you, and she was going to make sure that it got through to you, and she did. And
Yeah.
that's such a beautiful. It's so beautiful, and it just makes it even that much more right. And she
You
chose you, and she chose you, so you better not let her down.
no, I can't now. Right. I never thought of it that way. Now I have the more gray hair. Okay. I can feel it.
One thing I would love to do, Michael, and I'll let you get going. I'm very humble and grateful to have had 30 minutes of your time, and I hope we can do this again. I'll follow up with you via email after this. And in the upcoming spring issue of Elevated Wine, Spirits, and Cuisine magazine, which is one of our 13 beautiful magazines, we're going to do an editorial feature on you, and I'll include that in a number of the other magazines as well. And I might even turn that into the cover of Elevated Wine, Spirits, and Cuisine magazine. And
Holy cow.
so I'll follow up with you in email. Michael Forbes, thank you so much for taking the time to discuss liquidjazzexperience.com as now patented by you and gifted to you by the universe, this genius idea. I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Is there anything I didn't ask you that I should have or that we didn't touch upon? I could speak to you the rest of the day, but
I know this is awesome.